Okay, we're live. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Jesus.
I'm not looking down.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We are going to be unveiling this program in very few seconds. Please, if you're joining, thank you. Tell us where you're joining from and just share this video, share this broadcast right away. As soon as you join, please share. Thank you so very much. We are sharing. FUNMI and I were here already, and we are sharing. And in a minute, we are going to be starting. Share it on your WhatsApp status, your WhatsApp link list, and your WhatsApp group. That will help to get everyone to catch this program today. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you. All right. Yes. So a lot of people joining. If you're joining, say hello and let us know where you're joining from. Thank you. Thank you. Here is the auto.
Hello, Pastor Bringer. Good to be here.
Same here. So just a few minutes. I'm just gonna quickly be talking about this book for a few minutes before I bring FUNMI back again. Thank you everyone for joining. Please, if you're joining if you're just joining, if you're joining this program, please just say hello. Thank you so much, my sister Simi Loluwa. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Who else is joining? Please just tell us where you're joining from and your name, and we will be able to actually welcome you to the program. This is how to talk to your child about sex without shame. Very powerful topic that most people shine away, most parents shine away from, quite frankly, and it's very, very needed in this day and time. And we really want to make sure that everyone is able to be part of this. Joining from Dallas, thank you. Let us know where you're joining from, everybody. Please let us know where you're joining from. Let us know where you're joining from. Thank you very much. Facebook. Thank you. Thank you. So please share this video. A lot of people need to actually know about this topic. Not only that, this is going to be another interactive session. I believe that you are going to learn a lot. I know you're going to learn a lot and you are going to be blessed tremendously. Okay, so before the author comes in, I want to make sure that we have more people over here. Come on in, everybody. Please, if you can, also share it. share it on your page, share it to your friends and family, and let us all be here to benefit from this tremendous program today. So we are on two platforms on Facebook. On Facebook, two platform on Benga Pastor Show. That's my personal page, and on our Cornerstone Publishing page for our company, and also we are on YouTube. But that is unlisted so that we can have this recorded and packaged. So are you all here? Are you all ready? I am ready. I don't know about you. Okay, so please invite somebody, tag somebody on Facebook, tag somebody. The way you tag somebody is put somebody name that you want to be here and actually tag them to be part of this afternoon. Tag them and they will be able to join us. Okay. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Benga Showunmi. I'm the CEO of Cornerstone Publishing. I'm so privileged to be able to help FUNMI ALAGBE publish #1 Amazon's best-selling book. I'm telling you, I will be sharing that with you shortly. This book is a very timely book. If you have read the title already, you already know this is a timely book. This is a timely topic. This is a well-needed subject with a lot of parents. Actually, I was in a parents women conference recently, and then someone asked a question that how do I talk to my child, my 8-year-old, about sex? And actually today, part of this interview, FUNMI is going to be, she's an expert in in actually counseling children about sex, sexual abuse for children, and now taking it to the next level, actually package it in a book so that the whole world can have access to what grace and wisdom and revelation God has given to her for a well-needed topic like this. So I want you to relax, get a cup of coffee. If you need a notebook, get one and be ready to learn so much today from this amazing expert, FUNMI ALAGBE. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about a book. She has been one of the advocates, of children sexual abuse and tackling that. And actually, I've done so many seminars, webinars, conferences on this topic, talking to parents, on a larger scale, on a large stage. But God put a passion in her heart that if 500 people can be blessed through, can be imparted through this topic, she wants to put it in a book. And as a result, we were not surprised, but very shocking that it happened so quickly that the book on the second day, within 24 hours that the book was launched, became #1 bestseller on Amazon. We're not kidding. I'm showing you right here. Did you understand? We have the screenshot for it. #1 bestseller on Amazon in the category of sex instruction, and also of the book that were released at the same time that our book were released. She became #1 on the hot new releases. There's some category that are hot new releases. She became #1. #1 on child abuse, #1 here on overall, overall hot new releases. Did you understand? So, you only need to be in the first 100 to be bestseller, but she made it to #1. The book made it to #1. That's to tell you that this book is well needed and this knowledge is well needed. And not only that, she write this book well done, well packaged. The knowledge and the nuggets, the instruction that are in this book. I mean, I have read a lot of books. I've not seen that. I've not seen a book that even talk explicitly about instructing our children about sex. So we are really grateful. So having said that, let us bring the author herself to share with us what a beautiful work she has done and to introduce our book to her. Funmi Alagbe, welcome to
Thank
this
you.
show today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad to be talking to us about my book, How to Talk to Your Child About Sex Without Shame. And I'm happy to be part of the people here. And thank you everyone that has joined from different parts of the world. I'm glad you made it. I assure you will have a fantastic time here today. And thank you for having me, Pastor Bringer. I'm happy to be here.
Wow, Funmi, thank you so much for doing this. And look, you are a project manager, you are an expert in other things, but for some reason, I know you are married, you are a parent as well. When did this passion for children and specifically in the area of sex started? How did it start with you? Because there is always a starting point for everything. I know you have passion for other things. How did you came up with the fact that this has to be something that we have to tackle and we have to look for, we have to tackle, we have to focus on? How did it end up becoming a passion of yours?
Thank you so much for that question. Very important. And it takes me to the foundation to do where it all started from. Like you mentioned, I've worked with children a very long time, over 15 years. I'm going to 20 years now. I've been working with children and teenagers in many faith-based organizations. I work in the children department and all that. So I've had opportunity to interact with young people a lot in the course of my growing up and all that. And though I'm a project manager, that's by profession, or I read geophysics and now into project management, data analysis by profession, but that's a bit different. I developed passion starting from my volunteer activity, working with children and teenagers. And of particular importance was my experience working with a non-governmental organization called School of Virtue, which provided an avenue for me to counsel young people, teenagers, and undergraduates on areas of sexuality. That was an event that really blew my mind and opened my mind to the extent of what is happening in our society with as regards young people, the teenagers. You sit at the counseling table, you hear all sorts of things, abuse, by uncle, teachers, religious leaders, different things happening to people. And in the all of these experiences, something came out to me as I started to reflect after each of those sessions, because I worked with the organization for many years. So I saw the gap. I saw that there's something missing. There's a disconnect. A lot of young people are experiencing some things are going on for them that they have nobody to talk to. They have no guidance. The parents are not even aware. And you'll be shocked that many things are happening under the roof of parents and they're not aware. So I saw that there's a gap, there's a disconnect somewhere. And the young people are not getting the support that they needed. And that was how that passion was battered in me. I've always worked with children, like I said, and with teenagers. And I started working, founded Parenting Grace, and we started talking to parents about parenting generally. And then to now start to also focus on sex education for kids. That passion also was accentuated when during COVID, when I realized that there's a lot of happening, and we saw in the news there a lot increased amount of sexual abuse, domestic violence, and things happening. And it wasn't that these were not happening before; they were happening, but it wasn't. Nobody brought them to the limelight. But COVID-19 made it so obvious. So at that point, I said, okay, we need to start to empower people, empower parents to be able to protect the most vulnerable people in their care, their children. So that was what really started this. Let me just stop there.
Actually, one of those stories in your introduction you talk about in 2022, when there was it was a sex tape of a 10-year-old that was circulating, and then it happens to be the fact that a lot. That was not just the first step. It was not a mistake. This child has been having a series of sexual experimenting and
Absolutely.
conception. This was something that they planned together, and they've been having sex for a long period of time, and the parents were not aware.
No.
And for you, that was the beginning. Tell us about that, how that actually impacted you. How did you see it? Because at that time, many people were like, oh, it was the teacher in school and all that. But you thought, and everybody thought, okay, it was the uh the the blame were to go to the blames were to go to the parent.
Yeah. Well, I won't come from the part of who to blame, but for I would just in a way turn it around and say more of whose responsibility is it
It is,
to
yes.
educate our children. And I would say the primary responsibility of educating our children lies with us as parents, because nobody can do the job better than you as a parent. You know your values, you know what you stand for, you know what you want for your children, you want the best for your children, and you are the best person that can really help your children, guide them in the right path. We cannot trust public institutions, their structures, their institutions, to educate our children, to give them correct values. We cannot trust them. But we, as parents, know the best for our children, and we are the best people to take on this responsibility to educate our children about sex and sexuality. And also, this topic is so important that we cannot leave it for the young people to decipher by themselves, for them to figure out the right thing to do by themselves, especially in the world we're living in right now. We cannot do that. So, as parents, part of our responsibility is to teach our kids, is to direct them in the right path, in the way that they should go. And we cannot outsource sex talks. I know many people find it challenging to go into this area or to have this kind of discussion. I know, but I understand that in the world that we're living in right now, with increased amount of technology, technological advancement, and all that, we cannot leave this job out. We cannot outsource this job to somebody else to do for us. We have to take on the responsibility of doing that as parents, because that's the only way we can slot in our values. You can say, oh, they will teach them in school. Teaching them in school will only talk to them about biology. They won't teach them about your values, those things, how you want them to interact with this gift of sexuality. It's a gift. So we as parents are the best people to do this. And if we do this, there's a lot of benefit that comes with it. Because if you as a parent are able to talk to your children about sex and sexuality, then your children, there's nothing they will hide from you. If they can talk to you about sex, they can talk to you about anything whatsoever. And it's a gain for you as they grow up into adulthood, they become teenagers, those adolescent time where kids want to dissociate from their parent. They want to move towards their peers instead. So at that point where they needed guidance, they needed help. So
Mhm.
when you have established a culture where you're free to talk to them about this sexuality, there is nothing they won't be able to talk to you, and it will enrich your relationship with them.
Okay, for me, like, very good, because a lot of time we leave this to other people to do, and there's a reason for that. And your topic actually shine light. The topic of your book actually shine light on why is so difficult to talk about it to our children. Like, for example, the way you worded the is how to talk to your child about sex without shame, because for so many parents it is something they shine away from. It
Absolutely.
looks a shameful thing to talk about sex. Oh, let me not go there. Do you realize? I know you know how difficult it is for parents. Oh my God, to talk about this topic. And I'm very happy that the chapter one of your book actually went on to talk about the foundation, how to go about it. Talk about the 5W and H. Am I right? The
Yes.
why, the how, the what, the where, and the uh, can you, without talking too much, can you give us because I know you're talking about don't leave it to the church, don't leave it to the school, don't leave it to, but you also admit that, you know, sometimes it's difficult, it's so challenging. So how, when, where do we do this? And later on I will ask you to give, a practical example on how to talk to, maybe a 5-year-old child about sex. But let us start with, how do we get started? If I'm very shying away from this topic, I can tell you I'm guilty of that myself. And I know a lot of parents here are guilty of that. And you know how difficult it is because you have had to work with a lot of parents. Can you share with us from your book the foundation and how to get started in beginning to discuss this with your child?
Thank you for that question. Actually, from the beginning of the creation, we've known that sex and shame have always gone hand in hand, because there is this taboo around sexuality that we inherited in most culture, most of our culture, be it African culture, North America, everywhere. There is that shame about it, and we get it. I get it. I always say that back then, maybe 30, 40 years ago, if a child wanted to know something about sexuality or any part of their body, like maybe they want to search what a penis is or something like that, the best they could do would be to go to a dictionary to find that information then. But in the world that we're in right now, a child will literally Google, check the internet, and we know that that has the potential of leading them down a dangerous path. So I understand if we have this taboo, we don't talk about it. You might have grown up and your parent might not have spoken to you as a mom today, or you're 40 years and above, and your parent might not have spoken to you about sexuality, and you might have been okay, fine. Because the world was still a safer place for us to grow in, for children to grow in when we were growing up. But fast forward today, our children are growing up in the technological age. Information is everywhere at the fingertips. So I understand the shame, but it is high time we over keep the shame that we have always known and to start to take on this responsibility, because if we don't talk to them, we don't overcome our shame, somebody else is talking to them. So they're getting this information somewhere else. So we need to overcome that shame. There are ways to go about it. The book tells us some tips and strategies to employ to be able to overcome the shame around sex. Pastor Benga was talking about the W's, the 5 W's and 1 H that we talked about in the book. It's talked about where is this conversation supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen at home. Because if you want your child to go in a particular direction, you should be able to give them that guidance. It shouldn't be anywhere else. So all the other information they get everywhere should be just an add-on to what they have already known at home. Because let it be that your child gets out and they say, oh, this is what is happening. Oh, this is a gay couple. They say, oh, my parent already told me about it. My dad already mentioned it. My mom already mentioned it. So it's just an added advantage, an added information. So they are not hearing the first information about all this sexuality that is so common in our world today. They're not hearing it first outside, because the first message is very, very potent, and we need to be the first set of people to do that. So I think I've talked about who, as parents, we should be the one to do that, where it should be happening in our house. How will it happen is what the book have already itemized on how we can go about it. So let me tell you one of the tips that we said in the book on how to go overcome shame. We said that you need to call a spade, meaning that call the sexual organs their real name. Penis is penis, vagina is vagina. You need to call them their real name, because that is the foundation of shame. Because when we start to use pseudonyms.
Are you for real?
Yes. When we start to use pseudonyms for these parts, we are communicating implicitly to our children that there's something shameful about this. You shouldn't mention it. Because we tell them about their hand, their legs, their faces, their nose, their hair. But when it comes to the private part, which makes a whole body part of the body, we use pseudonyms. We call it broccoli, we call it cookie, we do all sorts of things. So with that, we're communicating indirectly to our children that there's something shameful about this. So the first step in overcoming this shame is to call a spade a spade. Give it the correct names. I do that. And then you remove the shame out of it. And then your facial expression will show whether you're communicating shame yourself, the way you're talking to your kids about it. But so when you have an expression that shows that there's no big deal about this is just part of your body. There's no big deal about this. So nobody will feel that shame. So you want to build an atmosphere where there is open conversation and free conversation, organic conversation about body parts, about sexuality without shame. That's one tip. So there are many other tips that we can also use to talk to our kids about it and to overcome this shame. I don't know if I've answered your question, Pastor Benga.
Yes, this is the book here. A very powerful book. It's 100 and 20 something pages. And that is very powerful. The where, the how, the what should you say, and where it's come boiled down to is how to call a spade a spade. Okay, we hear you. Okay, that is very tough, but
yeah, it's tough, but you
I
have
guess
to get started. and I always tell people to practice in the webinars I've done before. I said, you have to first of all get comfortable talking to if you're married, you're a parent, talking to your spouse about sexuality. Get comfortable talking to them about it. That's first step to overcome it. And then get into your bathroom. As if you're not comfortable using those words, start to say those words in front of your mirror. Repeat them. Vagina, penis, breast, all those things, repeat them to yourself. And then until you become comfortable. So another thing is that when our knowledge increases, when we know what we say, so that helps us to overcome shame in a way as well. So we need to also increase our knowledge about this subject, which the book will help you to do. I think
all right.
also,
We're still going to talk more about the book. Thank you so much, FUNMI, for sharing it. You already know that FUNMI, as she is not just passionate about it, she have a wealth of knowledge in practical time on how to deal with this subject. And that's why she's very fit for any parental seminar you want to have in your church, in your organization, or a webinar that you want to have. She is one of those people to bring in to talk about this subject. I can tell you, we have about 10 people here, 12 who have joined, others have dropped off. Please make sure you're part of this. Come be part of this conversation and also share it with other parents. By the time we're done, there will be a lot of people who are not able to join this, maybe because of the time that we're doing it, but you can always take the link, share it with them, and tell them to actually watch this video. Okay, now if you really want to get this book, and I think everybody should get it, if you are a parent, you should have one. I got one. Even though we're the publisher, I have to purchase mine and have it in our house. Read it so that I can begin to talk about this with my children. Now, if you want to get your own copy, go to funmialagbe.com/book. And if you get into, that's what you will see, this page, make sure you put that /book, because it takes you directly to where you can get the book. And you can, if you're in Nigeria, you will have a link on how to get it in Nigeria. If you are in US, Canada, UK, and other developing countries, you will see the link for Amazon. Just click it for Amazon right there and click, and then boom, you will be able to get it on Amazon. Did you understand? Now, the reason why we don't give you Amazon direct link, go to Amazon and search FUNMI. There may be a lot of FUNMI there, but use this funmialagbe.com/book. You can take the screenshot now and quickly go to Amazon and get your own copy. This is very powerful information that she's sharing. I've never read a book, knowledge anywhere, that is so straightforward, that is so key, that is so clear on step by step on how to talk to your child about sex without shame. Without shame. Very, very important. So you have all the knowledge on how to be comfortable talking about it without being ashamed. Please take it right now. Somebody, if you like, you can just put it on the link, put it on the comment section. FUNMI alagbe.com/book. Put it on the comment section so that somebody can just click right there and go in and purchase their own copy. If you want it in Nigeria, you will also click a link there, and also you are able to purchase it in Nigeria, and you will be able to get your copy. For those of you in Nigeria watching from Nigeria, we're not leaving you out. We're not leaving you out. Thank you so much again, FUNMI. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging the fact that this is it's very I don't want to call it difficult, but challenging subject that most parents are reluctant to talk about, and you actually have addressed how to easily talk about this subject, with your children. One of the encouraging things that I see in this book also is that you are able to break it, some chapters up to age appropriate discussion. Did you understand? Age appropriate discussion, which is so exciting because what do I say to a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old? How do I say it? Then how do I say it to a 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old? But we want them to get this book, so we're not going to let them know everything. But let us speak. FUNMI, do you have any 5-year-old?
I do. My children, no, I have a 1 year plus and 14-year-old and
Okay.
and 11 years. So
11,
I don't have
11 years. Okay, so okay, let me pick the middle. Let's
Yes.
go to like 5-year-old.
That's fine.
So I know there is a chapter for 5-year-old. 3 to 5-year-old,
Yes.
the appropriate way to talk to them. Please, I have a 5-year-old, and I'm the parent. How will you tell me? I come to you. How should I talk to can you demo to us how to talk to a 5-year-old about sex without shame?
Fantastic. Number one thing I want to correct an impression is people think when you say talk to a 3-5-year-old about sex, they're like, what in the world? You want to sexualize children? What do you want to know? No, because we are using our adult mind to interpret that. So children, that's why we call it, there should be age appropriate information that you need to give to them. So what a 3-year or 5-year-old need is different from what older children would need. So, and when we talk about sexuality, talk to them about sex around that age. We're not talking about how mommy and daddy sleep together or things like that. That's not what you're talking to a 3 or 5-year-old. The point is not to sexualize them. The point is to give them information to protect themselves. At that age, when they are 3 years old or they're 5-year-old, is when you want to lay the foundation of what you're going to build as they grow. So at that age is what you want to tell them about their bodies, different parts of the body, the private part of their bodies, the public part of the bodies. You want to start to differentiate between that. You want to start to tell them how to protect themselves. You want to start to tell them what is private, what is public. Private places like bathroom and all that, privacy, boundaries, those are things you want to address at that age. Of course, you want to tell them about their body and tell them that nobody should touch it. They should protect it. It belongs to them. So things like that, those are the foundation that you want to lay at that age if you're doing this, talking to your child about sexuality, because all this make up what we call sexuality. Protection from child abuse and all that, giving them the right foundation, calling a spade a spade, giving the right names and all that. It's very important. And then there might be some children that are very curious that will ask you a question, Mommy, where do babies come from? So this kind of question is what some people like, what do I say? They kind of avoid answering their children. Or they say, oh, go meet your mommy. Your mommy will answer that question. Or
I
daddy
come
will say,
from
oh,
heaven.
or go meet daddy. Or we'll come up with made up stories. Like a stop, bringing the baby in the bassinet and bringing the baby. So as funny as that story is, which is very common, you might have heard it, it is not accurate. It is not factual. It is not accurate. And we're thinking we want to avoid, we don't know what to say. And that's why we made up that story to tell children. So there are things that you could tell them at that age without giving them wrong information. You want to give accurate information, accurate but age appropriate. It's accurate, but it has to be age appropriate. So we say, oh, how are babies made? You need a part from a mommy and a daddy to make a baby. I tell you, most children will be comfortable with that simple answer. You know the portion from mommy and daddy to make babies. Only few children will ask for that question. And if you have answered that question in that way, and the child is not asking or is not asking for more questions, that's enough for that age. If the child grows up, maybe or they're 7 years old, or they're and children have different temperaments and different personalities. So some of them might be more curious than others. So when they come and they're asking, then you have additional layer of information that you add. What do you mean? You need a part from mommy. Okay, there's something, a part of mommy's body that has egg, a part of daddy's body that has what we call sperm. So the egg and sperm comes together and they form babies. It's simple like that. You have to say it without squirming your face. Without You have
Wow.
to say it like it's normal sentence. It's normal
Excellent.
information. Because
Mhm.
sometimes we ourselves we are the one projecting the shame and all that in the atmosphere of the conversation where we're talking about it. So say that something like that. And one of the strategy we shared is also say it while you are doing something else. Multitask while you're doing this. You don't have to sit a child down in front of you and start to give them this information. You're doing something a child asks, you're still doing what you're doing, but you're answering that question. There's no big deal about this.
Mm.
So that's the way you can answer that question or to a child that is like 5 years old. And most times I tell you, when you answer questions that way, they are comfortable, they are okay with what the answer you have given. Only in very few cases that you see children pestering wants to know more, you know. And when they are very curious and they are still asking, then you need to also dig in deep and say, well, what is informing all this unusual curiosity, you know? But children will always be curious and they will ask questions. Once you give this information, this factual information, age appropriate, correct information, not too much for them to handle, they will be fine at that time. So that's my response for that.
Very good, Fumi. Very good. Very good. So everybody having fun with it. This is so amazing. Very powerful information we are gaining today. I personally, this explanation right here is so profound. I know many parents have gotten this question in one way or the other, whether not from your child directly, maybe from other people's children, and then you're like, how do I answer this? What do I say to this child? And with Fumi here, she's able to break it up. And I like the way you talk about multitasking. I read it in the book too, about, you could be multitasking and you're talking about it. And that can also help to eliminate the shame. And you can
Absolutely.
bring human into it as well.
Absolutely.
I read your book.
Yes, I know.
Very powerful. You can bring humor into it and all that. And then that can help to actually eliminate the shame of
Yeah.
talking about very important things. So the age appropriate is very key. I'm not going to let you talking about to teenagers, 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Let everybody get this book. Go get your own copy. Go to fumialagbe.com/book and you will be able to get it. And when you get your copy, share it with other people. Share the video with other people who are at work, who are busy right now, who couldn't attend this. Let them be part of this discussion. Let them begin to gain some knowledge in this. Fumi, thank you very much for doing this. This is
You're
very, very
welcome.
great.
My
Now, I
pleasure.
want to, one of the area, you have already mentioned a little bit about it, that is a time bomb exploding right now, and it's so scary for every parent. Most of us were not born in the age of technology. We were born into technology. I mean,
Yes.
technology actually met us here. Sorry.
Mhm.
Our children are born into technology. I mean, you can't literally separate a child from technology now because they're actually born into it. We are the one to tell them the history on how technology came, how smartphone came.
Absolutely.
They met all those things here. How iPhone came, how Facebook came. They met all those things here, and they saw it as a tool that they met here and they can use for other things. They met video game here. We were not privy to video
Absolutely.
game, all those things. So it is part of their life. But man, there is so much going on online that we are so scared about. Sexual exploitation, online and all that's going on, the things that these kids are exposed to,
Mm.
the same sex marriage, their sexuality being distorted in their mind.
Mhm.
What do you say about that for me? As you have put this book together, I believe there's so much you say about it as well. Technology wise, online, how do we safeguard our children?
Thank you for that important question, Pastor Minka. The fact is that the technology is fast shaping our world. It's shaping culture, the mainstream media, the technology that our children are born into is fast sweeping them away, shaping their culture, that we as parents need to pay close attention to that. We need to pay close attention to that. There's a lot of sexualization going on. Everything online, every advertisement, every movie, music is laced with sexuality. And they're sending out messages to our children constantly. Constantly, they're sending out messages to our children. They're shaping their world, their culture, their view of sexuality, that if we don't take the bull by the horn as parents, the culture will sweep them away. What they will believe and what they will say and their mindset about it will be different, and you will be shocked. So that's why we as parents need to take on that job and start to talk to our children about what they are already being exposed to through the games and things that they're interacting with. So we need to start to take that conversation at home, bring it back to the home, and start to talk to them about everything. Same sex relationship, anything whatsoever, identity, we need to start to have that conversation. And as well as parents, we need to also have a control over how much access our children have to all these things. Because the time they are spending on internet is the time they are not spending with adults in a human being relationship. Those are virtual relationships. Might interact with people, or some of them might be on social media, interacting with their friends and all that, with different social media apps and things like that. The time they are not spending with us as parents is the time they're spending out there is the time they are not spending with us. So we need to be more proactive in how to ensure that we are connecting with them in the real world, and we are influencing their choices. We're talking to them. And then we need to be, I know they are digital natives. We are not digital natives because we grew up when there was no technology as such. But then they are growing up in it. They know it, they understand it. So we need to be engaging them using what they already know. They know how to use it even better than some of us. So we need to start to use that tool to start to engage in meaningful conversation about what they're seeing online, about what they're watching. So you as parents, you need to find time and sit with your children and say, Oh, tell me about what you're watching. Why do you like this movie? Why do you like this show, this cartoon? So what happens there? Talk about the character in the cartoon and bring out valuable. There are some timeless principles that we as parents need to instill in our children. The message, the key point does not change, but the method in which we are going to get it across to them has changed. And we need to employ and use what they already know, the technology and the tools that they are very used to. We need to use that to start to have conversation, to start to bring out values that our children can grow up with. We can't just leave them to spend hours in front of technology, in front of TV, and then without the conversation about it. Sometimes you might have to sit with them and play a game with them. And that is a great way to bond with your children, to have that connection. You think, I don't even know all these things they're playing. Yes, you don't know, but you can invest some time to say, you know what, let's sit together and play. You will see the reaction of your children.
Wow.
Sit with them and say, teach me how to play. And my husband have had to teach me Minecraft. Let's play together, you know, just to know. And then you start to pick out things. You see the character, the way they're behaving, maybe in a negative way. That's an opportunity. That's the teachable moment that we talked about in the book that you can use to correct them about how they should properly behave and how they should not behave. So we need to be involved as parents in their use of technology, because this is where this culture is being shaped. This is where their perspective is being shaped. So this is very, very important. And if we are talking about sexuality, we cannot leave that out, because a lot is happening out there. There's a lot they're seeing online that we need to be in the conversation. We need to be aware. We need to know, and we need to steer them in the right direction. And every parent should have internet filtering device, internet control. You should limit the quality of programs. You should monitor the quality of program your children are watching, the quantity of time that they are spending there. These are very key things. And there are tools, there are technology that have been set up to help you to achieve this. So this is very key. This is very important. The culture is being shaped. The views of children is being shaped online.
Yes.
It's like a marketplace. We can't just throw a child into a big marketplace to wander around for themselves. We cannot do that. We need to be able to put guidance into that. And you cannot just leave your room, your house open and allow strangers to come and talk to your kids. We wouldn't do that. Why do we allow that to happen online? So online is where we need to also police. We need to see what is happening to our children, who they are talking to, what side they are going to, limit what they're doing there, and be in control.
Thank you so much, Fumi. This online technology thing is a huge, huge topic of its own. And I believe that one of these days we'll be able to put a webinar together, a parenting webinar together, in order to address this. I'll tell you, that is a major problem. That is a major situation that most parents has to deal with. You know, limiting time. I like when you say that the time they are spending with technology is the time they are not spending with an adult. That's the time they are not spending with you. So you want to seek an opportunity to actually sit with the child. Let me learn about this. Let's see what is going on with this. You know, I know in our house we limit technology a lot. There is a lock. At a certain time, everything locked up. Absolutely. You know, on their phones, on their iPhone, iPad, everything is locked. And you know, my wife, she's here, Pastor Victoria, she does a good job with that. I don't even know how she came about all those things, but she monitors everything. They know at a certain time the phone is locked, they can't access it. You know, 2 hours, that is all you got. 3 hours, that is all you got, and that is it. Okay, so if we can put those guys together and more, quite frankly, we pray that God will be able to help us in that area. Again, we are talking about how to talk to your child about sex without shame. It is very important to put that without shame there. And for me, I really credit you very much for how you worded this topic. You know, I never have any issue with the topic at all. It was very straightforward. No parents will see it and don't know they really need this. Very straightforward topic. Title of a book, quite frankly. This is the title of this book. And that's what we're talking about. FUNMI is so knowledgeable in this area. I've not seen any book that is so practically talking about child and how we as parents can help to talk about sex to our children without shame. This is a very timely book. If you don't know it's a timely book, I don't know where you are as a parent. I'm telling you, this is a very timely book. I want to dare you to get it. This book, the day it was launched, within 24 hours, it became the bestseller, number one bestseller on Amazon. This is the screenshot. We're not trying to, this is the screenshot. Okay. And among the books that were released, there are books that are released the same time. It also came up as number one bestseller about on hot new books. A book that I just had, their new book, and it became number one among all those books. That's to tell you that we all need it, and people jump into it and they're purchasing the book as soon as they saw the topic. So if you don't have this book yet as part of your library, you must have it. It's a must have for a parent. You cannot dodge this topic. You cannot sweep it under the carpet. You cannot say it doesn't concern me. I'm telling you, in this day and age, it concerns you. It's going to come back and roast at home. So you must begin to engage, and you must be the best person to shape the mind of your child, of your children, about this very important topic we are treating now. A lot of people grow up and they have challenges with their sexuality because their parents never get involved. Okay. So please get your own copy. How do you get it? How do you get your own copy? I want to put that here. Go to funmialagbe.com. Now, if you are part of this, you have not shared this video, share it. funmialagbe.com/book. funmialagbe.com/book. If you are in Nigeria, there is a link there you will click in order to get your copies in Nigeria. If you're in Europe, United States, Canada, other places, developing country, go to Amazon and click and get your ebook and your paper book. Okay. Somebody was asking that, do you have audiobook? Well, I'm going to answer as the publisher of the book. We have the paper copy of the book, and we have the e-copy, the ebook, Kindle. If you're in Nigeria, you can also get the ebook on okada.com. Okada.com. Search for FUNMI ALAGBE on okada.com. You can get an ebook there. But for the audio book, we are going to work on it. I'm going to talk to FUNMI about it because audiobook is the best. Is one of the growing market now for busy professionals. They are able to listen to it on they're traveling, able to listen to it. It's easy on Audible. So you really want to work on that. So we will let you know once it's out. And that question came up from Loretta. Loretta had that question. Okay, where I click something different, Loretta, right here. Is there an audio book? There is another question, and this is from my amazing wife, Pastor Victoria, showing me, at what age do you start this conversation? At what age? Now, if you have any question, this is the time you can send in your question. We want to take one or two more questions. Thank you so much. At what age do you, I know we use 5 years example, 5-year-old, but at what exact age do you start this conversation?
Yeah, I want to say this is a very common question that people ask, at what age? And we usually say between age 3 and 5, depending on your child's development. If the child can understand a few things, can say a few words, then it's the right time to start to have conversation with your child. And I've already mentioned what conversation you'll be having at that age. You want to be talking about privacy. You want to talk about the part of their body. You want to talk about the public and private part of their bodies. You want to talk about boundaries. We should touch them. We should not be able to touch them. where people should not touch and how they should not touch other people, understanding and respecting people's privacy and all that. These are things you want to start to talk to your children about at that age, because that's a good age to start to lay the foundation of open, honest conversations with your children.
Very good for me. Thank you so much for that. Does anybody, how many of you are enjoying this conversation? Please, I need your comment. Is this a good conversation to have? Is this a good conversation to have? How many of you are blessed already having this conversation? Come on now, let us get your feedback. Come on. Come on, let's get your feedback. Let's get your feedback. Let's get your feedback. And if you have question also, please ask your question. We have a few minutes to round up. I'm really enjoying this. I thought we should just continue. I have so many things in my head to ask you, but the book answers so much of the questions. So much of the question. The book, this book, I'm telling you, I know I was surprised that I became bestseller that quickly, but I know that it was needed. In fact, when I sent the link out to my network, everybody was like, oh, let's do a Zoom meeting or something about it. Oh, yes, I'm at work, but I will try to join. That's to tell you that we all need this and we're all looking forward to it. Yes, very good conversation. Good job, more grace.
Great.
I am well done, Fumi. Simis Lolua. Thank you, Ma. Say I am having a great time watching and learning. Great, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Brother Larry, for joining. Everybody saying something good here. Wonderful, wonderful, great conversation. I'm just posting it. Good. It's a good topic. I am well done for me. Mrs. Flora said, good job. More grace to you for me. And very good conversation. Thank you for your time. Great to have you on, sister. Great. I am having great time and learning. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, make sure you get your own copy today. And God bless you in Jesus' name. All right. So there is a follow-up question. I think I'm getting a follow-up question here. If you have a boy and girl of the same age, do you have the conversation at the same time or separately? Or the conversation you have with boy? I think in your book, there's a way to have the conversation with boy and the girl. They're probably different. Is that?
Yeah, it depends on the age that we are talking about and what conversation you're having with them. If you want to talk to a girl that is nearing puberty and all that, because they are feeling uncomfortable already about their body and things like that, you want to have this conversation with them as a mom, maybe separately away from the boy, which is very important for them to feel comfortable at first with that. And then if these are 5 years old kids and you're talking about private body parts, you probably should be able to have those conversations together with 5 years old kids at that age. But I think it depends on the age of the people and the conversation that you're having with them. So if a child comes and asks a question, for example, if you think your response is going to be beneficial to both sexes, both gender, you should go ahead and have that conversation with them. And then the outcome, the ultimate goal is for you to continue to have open, honest conversation and let that conversation develop organically in your home, such that, for example, my daughter could comes from school every now and then, or my son, and they tell me about things that they see in school. For example, she's 14. She came home to me. She came home to all of us in about 2 weeks ago and said, oh, something happened in school today. I need to tell you guys. My son that was 11 was there. He said a boy in our class, she's 14, maybe those kids should be around the same age, a picture of, sent his dick picture, his penis picture to a girl, and then it flew around, and It was almost everybody in the school got a picture. I'm like, so everybody was shocked. My son was there. We had that conversation. So those kind of conversation can happen. I don't have to send him away because he should learn what people should do and what people should not do. So we use that as an opportunity to strike a conversation and to say what's the appropriate way to behave and all that in public and things like that. And should that be done, should not be done. So we use that as an opportunity to strike conversation. Everybody was there. So I think it depends on the context of what you're discussing, the age of the children involved. So that's what will determine how you go about that.
All right. Thank you so much for that response. You know, there you have it, Victoria. Any other question? Any other question? Thank you so much. Thank you. And now, FUNMI, if anybody want to reach out to you for speaking engagement, for webinar, or just to chat with you on this area of parenting, parenting generally, and also on this area of sexuality, sexual counseling, maybe so because you are into sexual counseling as well for kids. Maybe a child is going through some complication right now, or anyway, any of these parents want to get in touch with you. How do they reach you?
You can reach me at FUNMI, My Parenting Grace. I could drop our email, myparentinggrace@gmail.com. We'll put it on the chat now. At gmail.com is the fast way to send me an email, or you could also check us out on our website. You will be able to send a link and see all the other services that we have. They say also contact us on that website. The website is www.parentinggrace.com, or you could go to FUNMIALAGBE.com. Each of those will lead you to the same place. And then from there, you can fill the form, contact us, we'll get in touch with you. I can also drop our business phone number here. You can drop us a chat on WhatsApp, and that will be welcome as well. And then I'll put the email address, which is myparentinggrace@gmail.com. That is easily accessible for us, and then you can use that to get in touch. I'll put it on the chat.
We have parentinggrace.com and myparentinggrace@gmail.com for email. But if you go to the website, you will have all those information that we help you. Myparentinggrace.com, myparentinggrace@gmail.com is the email, and parentinggrace.com is the website. And you can reach out to her through all this avenue for any question. And if you want her to be a guest in your church, in your organization, or a parenting conference, women conference, and all that you know you want to add this to the menu, she is very open and willing to come and introduce, to come and bring that up. Now, please know that we're talking about this book, How to Talk to Your Child About Sex Without Shame. You know, and you can get it at FUNMIALAGBE.com/book. FUNMIALAGBE.com/. If you're in Nigeria, you are covered. It's here. You just click on the link. Once you get to the website, you will see Nigeria. To get the book in Nigeria and to get the book on Amazon, just click and it take you, whether you're in Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Amazon US, Amazon France, Italy, Amazon India, is all there. And you'll be able to get your book, whether ebook. If you want to start reading right away, you get the ebook and it's downloaded in your Kindle, and you start reading the book right away, and it will benefit you and your family. I don't know who doesn't want to get this book. Thank you so much, FUNMI. My name is Benga Showmi. I'm the CEO of Cornerstone Publishing, and by the grace of God, we have helped to publish over 500 books. We have helped to publish over going to 500 books for the past almost 10 years that we started the company. All right. So these are the books we published last year. So if you want to reach out to us to publish your book, to do what we're doing for FUNMI, and to also get your book to be a bestseller, please reach out to us on 832 510 3350. Our website is cornerstonepublishers.com. The cornerstonepublishers.com. The cornerstonepublishers.com. And you can reach out to us and we will be able to get your book to a bestseller list in a very short period of time. Thank you so much, every one of you, for doing this with us and with FUNMI. We really appreciate you. FUNMI, what is your last word to say today before we go?
I want to say that let's break the silence. It is time to break the silence. Our children are longing for us as parents to talk to them about sexuality. Research has shown us that children want their parents to talk to them. So we should break the silence. That's why this book was written, to help us overcome that reluctance about sex toys, to remove the shame, to equip us with what we need to do effective job in educating our children, in guiding them in this hypersexualized world that we are in right now. So I want to implore us as parents to please take on the challenge, break that silence, start to engage your children about sexuality. And we said it in the book, how to go about that. If your children have never come to you about sex questions, does not mean they do not have questions in their mind. So they're probably asking people outside, they're asking their friends, they're asking people, but they're not talking to us because we have never spoken to them. So please break the silence, start to have conversations with your children around this, because then you start to hear things that you will know that, oh, I need to start to pay attention to this discussion. That's my charge for us today. Thank you so much for everyone that has come and joined us. I hope you have enjoyed this session as much as I have enjoyed it. And don't forget to get in touch with us. We are also on Instagram as well as Parenting Grace, at Parenting Grace, on Facebook, FUNMI Parenting on Facebook as well. Our number is +447341 725768. You can give us a text message or chat us on WhatsApp, and that will be fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, FUNMI ALAGBE. We really enjoyed this conversation. So much knowledge has been shared here. And I believe that, you have sparked something in so many parents here today. And then your book is really an amazing book. You did a very good job to put this material together. You're not selfish to keep it to yourself. You did it so that all of us can gain from it and use it to the benefit of the generation that is coming behind us. We are so grateful for your service through this book, and we pray that this book, the best days have just started. It will go far. It will take you places in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. So please, everyone, thank you so much, FUNMI. Everyone, get your book. This is it here. Get your book, get your own copy, get it through that link. This is the title of the book. And this is how you can get it. Go to funmialagbe.com/book. So I really want to thank every one of you for taking your time today. I appreciate you. God bless you. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.